And so what did they get? They got a really nasty letter from an attorney, and then they called me on the phone and said, how do we get ourselves through this one?
Hey everyone, Kevin A. Malsh, Pine Financial Group, where we work together so you succeed. If you're just stumbling across a video or if you've been following us for a little while and you haven't yet, why not hit subscribe and leave us some comments below. And you might also want to hit on that little bell, the notification button, so you get notified each time we have fresh new content coming out. Today we have a special guest, good friend of mine, fantastic attorney, smartest attorney I know, Jared Seidenberg. We're talking today about, I already forgot what we're talking about.
We were going to talk about some title
We're
work.
talking about title work, how to protect yourself when you're doing title work, because you have an interesting story you wanted to share.
Yeah, and I think that the basics of it is read it, right? I mean, that's the lesson in
the
all
video.
of this,
Read the
right?
title.
We get all this title work. It is voluminous. We get these giant PDFs, right, that have all this stuff in it. And you read the first part and you say, oh, well, the person that I'm buying it from owns it. Great.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Let's close.
And you close it, right? But you didn't click those links that are really neat, right? In our new title work, it comes to you electronically, and you get these hyperlinks in there in the exceptions, and this is something that is the most important part of the title work. It's great to know what it covers. It's great to know what your policy has. Really important to know what it doesn't cover, right? So you got to click those links, you get a hyperlink right to the document, it's in the public record, and then read the document. I can't tell you how many times I have to have this conversation with our clients and just say to them, you don't need me to read it for you, but if you want me to help you, I'm always there.
You'll take the money.
That's right.
Okay.
And so the story that we were talking
Yeah,
about
share the
earlier is,
story.
really sophisticated client of mine does tons of development in town. Single families, multi-families, 50 units at a time. These guys really have it dialed in.
Yeah.
They're great people to work with, right? They found a property they loved in a neighborhood that was just perfect. And so they were going to do a rehab. They were going to scrape it and move on. And they clicked these links, but they didn't get all the way through the documents, right? And so then all of a sudden, they went to go pull a permit to demo, and they've got a really hostile neighborhood HOA that's knocking at their door. And they're upset, and they're going to stop the development.
Is this the one in the golf community?
No, this is one in Denver. It's right outside.
okay.
It's east of I-25 and north of Wash Park.
Okay.
Yeah. And
There's an HOA over there.
there's a little HOA over there. It's not really an HOA. It's formed under a little bit different set of circumstances. It's not under Kiowa, which is the Common Interest Association Act. It's under something a little bit different. So it was an under the radar. It wasn't something that would just pop right out at you. And the document that was really important started talking about setbacks. And so these guys looked at it and they said, well, great, we're going to comply with the setbacks. Let's move forward. They didn't get through the rest of the decks where it talked about the covenants that the neighborhood had on architectural review and what they had to do with the architectural review. And so what did they get? They got a really nasty letter from an attorney, and then they called me on the phone and said, how do we get ourselves through this one?
So an advice from you as an attorney might be call you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're reading them and it seems out of place or it doesn't make sense, give us a shout, right? And we don't have to get involved in every little bit of the title work. There are tons of things that good real estate people can do on their own. And we're not a firm that ever just looks at it and says, well, these are 55 pages and I'm going to have to read every single one of them.
Yeah, and just run up the bill.
And
You
run up
like
the
to
bill.
call it over lawyering.
Yeah,
Right?
we don't over lawyer at our firm. That is something, especially with our real estate clients. We are not in the way of the deal. We're here to help it go and to avoid those pitfalls. So if you see something that's out of place, give us a shout. Tell me what it is. If it's exception number 9, I'll read exception number 9. I'll write you an email and tell you I didn't read the rest, right? But I'll read exception 9 and we'll talk about it.
All
And
right.
it is so important for your deal.
So right before we close out the video, I'll let you share your contact information, but I wanted to share a story with you and the viewer as well. I'm buying a house. We're closing next week. I think it's next week. And there's a garage that they put in the back. Really cool. You haven't seen this one yet, but it's getting pretty close to the property line there. So I read my title commitment, and one of the exceptions was, property disputes or encroachments and disputes and all that. It's exception number 3 on the specific title policy that I read just yesterday. And I sent an email to the title company asking them to remove it. Like, I don't want to close if this is here.
You wanted to remove the exception.
Remove
You
the
wanted to cover
exception.
it.
I want it covered.
Yep.
Because I don't know, even though the garage was permitted, I don't know if they cross any boundaries or anything, and I don't have an ILC or a survey showing me it's not.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
I asked for this coverage, and they just said yes. They're just going to remove it. They're not going to even make me do a survey or anything.
And it's such a good point, Kevin. Asking is such an important part of this, right? You never know until you ask, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't
Yeah.
cost you anything, right? And so you're smart. You pick up the phone, you ask them, you negotiate it, and more often than not, it's going to go your way.
I just
They-
asked them, what do you need to remove this?
That's right, and they
said,
want your
"No,
business,
Nothing.
right? They want to do it. They want to actually insure this transaction.
Yeah, because the last thing I want, it's not a fence here that we can move, right? This is a garage. So I don't want to move the garage. So I want to be sure that I'm covered.
And I think in there is a really good lesson. Don't presuppose the end conclusion, right? Find it yourself. Don't just think to yourself, well, they'll say no, so it's not worth it. You never know until you ask.
Right. All right, so you're Colorado only.
Colorado only.
Your offices are downtown Denver, sick office, by the way, man. Tell the viewers how they get hold of you.
Yeah, you can get us on our telephone at 720-990-5530. You can look us up online at enterolaw.com. Give us a shout. We'd be happy to help in anything you've got.
And if you're looking for money, check us out, pinefinancialgroup.com.